Hey everyone. All right, so it's time for another Q&A video. So before we get started, for those of you that are interested, if you want to submit a question to me for a future Q&A video, there's two ways you can do that. Number one, it's on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @orangegrove55. Or you can submit a question in the comment section below. Either way, that's where I pick these questions from. And I'm gonna get back into doing the Q&A videos again. I know I took a couple months off, but they're gonna be becoming a regular thing again. So again, those are the two ways to submit your questions. Please, I love your questions, so submit to me and I will answer them in a future Q&A video. Okay, so let's get started. The first question comes from Steve. And Steve is asking, according to the latest post from Mice Chat, the Garden Walk is going for sale. If Disney were to acquire it, do you think they'd build a third park or move downtown Disney there and expand Galaxy's Edge to the current downtown Disney? Well, Steve, thank you for your question. And you pose a very interesting idea in your question that I never really even considered, which was taking the current downtown Disney location and using it for park expansion. Okay, now I know that sounds kind of crazy, but if you would have told me a year ago that Disney would be getting rid of Rainforest Cafe, Earl Sandwiches, and the ESPN Zone, I would have said, oh, there's no way. And that's exactly what they're doing. So is it a possibility that they would essentially bulldoze, get rid of downtown Disney and use it for park expansion? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm sure that that's on the table. You know, that's a possibility that Disney is considering, especially the fact that Anaheim is so short on space. You know, so an idea like that might be the only way to really expand Disneyland Park. Okay, there's not a whole lot of room in Anaheim, so that might be one of the only ways to do it. Now, do I think it's likely? Do I think that's the likely scenario? I don't, actually. I think the likely scenario is actually what you brought up, where they build a third park, probably in the current Toy Story lot, and they would use Garden Walk as another downtown Disney district where it would connect the third park to the current resort. Okay, so that's, in my opinion, I think that's the likely situation. But your idea about getting rid of downtown Disney and expanding Galaxy's Edge or expanding Disneyland into that current spot is an interesting one, and it's one I've never considered. And it's possible. It's absolutely possible. But I think the other scenario with the third park and building another downtown Disney, I think that's much more likely. Well, thank you, Steve, for your question. I do appreciate it. And the next question comes from Salvador. And he is asking, where in the world would you like a new Disney park? What lands would you put inside it, along with what rides? Okay, Salvador, thank you for your question. I do appreciate it. I am going to be a selfish Disney fan right now. So where in the world would I want them to build another Disney park? Anaheim. Anaheim is my home park, okay? That's where ideally I would want them to build another park. Now, if it was up to me, which it obviously isn't, but if it was, I would want them to build DisneySea, the park from Tokyo, here in Anaheim, as our third park. I would absolutely love that. Is that likely? No, it's probably never going to happen. And even if that were to happen, like let's say best case scenario, Disney announces they're going to have a third park here in Anaheim and it's DisneySea. Our DisneySea would be vastly different than the one in Tokyo. Okay, what my prediction, if we were ever to get DisneySea, it would turn out more like Islands of Adventure, where you essentially have like these areas like islands and bays and ports themed to different franchises. Okay, so you would have like Star Wars Bay, Toy Story Island, stuff like that. That's the kind of DisneySea that we would probably get here in Anaheim. Unfortunately, I would much rather have the Tokyo version. but you know, it's a pipe dream. It's never gonna happen. But yeah, I mean, I'm just being honest with you. Anywhere in the world, I want it here. You know, this is the park that I go to. I mean, you know, I want all the new stuff in California so I can experience it. So Salvador, thank you so much for the question. I really do appreciate it. And the next question comes from David Good. And Mr. Good is asking, why don't you ever do videos inside one of the parks? Well, David, thank you so much for your question. I do appreciate it. I'm going to be honest with you. Okay, when I went into making this YouTube channel, okay, one of the big motivations for me was to do something that not a whole lot of people are doing. Okay, so I noticed there were a ton of YouTubers, you know, Disney YouTubers that do in-park vlogs, you know, where they go in and they review like different drinks, or they go in, they review foods, or, you know, they go on to various rides. You know, Fresh Baked is a perfect example of that. They do a phenomenal job with all that stuff. Maxwell Glick is another gentleman who does great YouTube videos in the park. So there was just a lot of these YouTubers that already do that. So when I made my channel, I'm like, I felt like there wasn't a whole lot of YouTubers that just got up in front of the camera and just got real nerdy and talked about rumors and speculation and news. There wasn't a whole lot of people who did that. So that was my big motivation. I'm gonna do something different. Now, with that said, since I've started my videos, I've gotten a lot of requests to do in-park videos. A lot. So I am going to be doing the in-park videos. They are coming. Okay? They're coming later than I really initially wanted them to come, because in November, if you've been subscribed to me, which I know you have, David, but for those of you who have been subscribed to me for a few months, you probably know back in November, I had a medical emergency. My appendix burst and I was in the hospital. It set everything back in my life. It pushed everything back. So that's why there's been the delay of getting these in-park vlogs out. Also, another factor is in-park vlogs require a whole lot more editing, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not that good at the editing process yet. So I got the software for it and I'm playing with it, and I just want to make sure that when I finally do release the in-park videos, that they look good and professional with the editing, and that they're not like really choppy and, you know, unprofessional looking. So that's pretty much why they're taking longer than I anticipated, but they are coming. I will be doing in-park videos within the next few months, definitely. Like I said, I got a lot of requests for it. I initially, when I started the channel, was not going to do those kind of videos, but a lot of people have been asking me, so I'm going to go ahead and do them. But comment below though and let me know, you guys, if you want me to do the in-park videos, what kind of in-park videos do you want? Do you want me to go to various Disneyland Resort bars and review different drinks, or go to the restaurants and review food, or you want more, you know, construction-based videos where I film, you know, Galaxy's Edge being built? You know, whatever it is, what kind of in-park videos would you want to see from me? So let me know below. Thank you, David, for the question. I really, really do appreciate it. And the next question comes from Ross Loves Disney Nature. And Ross is asking, do you think with the upcoming Marvel-themed land expansion in California Adventure, Disney will be able to surpass the level of theming found in Cars Land, and somehow be able to pull off even more immersive theming than soon-to-be Star Wars Galaxy's Edge? Well, Ross, thank you for the question. Well, I'm going to get this out of the way. Do I think it'll be more immersive than Galaxy's Edge? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I do not think any Marvel expansion at California Adventure will be more immersive than Star Wars Land. And the reason being is I think Disney is taking Star Wars Land or Galaxy's Edge a lot more seriously than they do with their Marvel properties, unfortunately, because I think Marvel is a great franchise. But I think with Galaxy's Edge, they're taking, like, so much precaution to make sure that it's really immersive, and that once you're in that land, that you're immersed in this new planet. I just can't see them doing that with Marvel. Not to say Marvel Land is going to be bad or cheap looking. I don't think that at all. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's going to be cheap or bad, but I don't think it'll reach Galaxy's Edge status in terms of immersiveness and theming. I really don't. Will it match Cars Land? Yeah, probably. It'll probably be along the lines of a Cars Land where you walk in like, wow, this is cool, but it's not going to be Galaxy's Edge. I don't think they're going to do that level of immersiveness for a long time once Galaxy's Edge opens. I think that's going to be something that is really going to be the upper echelon of theming for a long time. But with that said, I do have faith in Marvel Land. I do think it will be a really good, solid, decent area. I mean, we're comparing it though to Galaxy's Edge. It's like, I like Outback Steakhouse. Okay, it's great food, but at the same time, it's not Ruth Chris, right? So it's the same thing. Galaxy's Edge is Ruth Chris Steakhouse, like the best of the best. It's great, amazing. Outback Steakhouse is also good. It's just not Ruth Chris. Okay, so I think Marvel Land will be Outback Steakhouse. Okay, well, thank you so much for your question. I do appreciate it, Ross. And the next question, our last and final question, comes from Amike Mysterio. Amike has a 2-point question. First part, what do you think they should do to the Finding Nemo submarine voyage? Second part is, what's your idea for an Ant-Man ride? I think they should do a type of adventure through inner space tribute. It may be a weird idea, but it would work. Let me say your fan idea. Greetings from Mexico, and love your videos, and I never miss one. Well, thank you. I do appreciate that, and I appreciate you watching all the way from Mexico. That's awesome. Thank you so much, and thank you for your question. Okay, so to answer the first part of your question, what do I think they should do with the Finding Nemo submarine voyage? Okay, I love the submarines. They are a part of Disneyland's history, and I'm glad they got a second life with Nemo. Okay, a second chance with Nemo. But I honestly believe that the Finding Nemo submarine voyage, its time has come. Okay, for a couple reasons. Number one, Finding Nemo really has nothing to do with the future or even science fiction. Okay, it's more of a Fantasyland type of theme. So I just don't think it fits the land, and I just don't feel it's worth sticking around anymore. Unfortunately, I mean, I love the submarines, but I really think that Tomorrowland, like I said in a former video, they really need to bulldoze everything except Space Mountain and start over. So in short, I think they should get rid of the Submarine Voyage unless they can come up with some new sort of theme for the submarines that would be more in line with the Tomorrowland theme. Then I'm all for it, because I really do love the submarines. But as of right now, as it stands, as it is still themed to Nemo, should it stay or should it go? It should go. Nemo needs to go. So that's my opinion. If they can change the Submarine Voyage to some other theme, like I said, that's fine. Then maybe we can keep it if it fits more in with the Tomorrowland theme. But yeah, if they're going to keep it as a Nemo ride, I think it should go, because I don't think it fits in with Tomorrowland at all. And the second question, what do I think about an Ant-Man ride and it being sort of like a tribute to Adventures Through Inner Space? I think that's a fantastic idea. I love that notion of an Ant-Man ride that sort of, in a kind of a subtle way, pays tribute to the former Adventures Through Inner Space attraction. I think that's really cool, actually. And I would love for an Ant-Man ride to replace Star Tours, because Star Tours, as you guys know, is where Adventures from Inner Space used to be. It would be kind of cool to have an Ant-Man ride there as sort of a tribute to Inner Space. The only thing that would kind of mess that plan up, excuse me, would be the fact that they are building Marvel Land at California Adventure, so it would be kind of weird to have an Ant-Man ride at Disneyland with Marvel Land across the way. But yeah, I think that would be really awesome to have an Ant-Man ride. And wherever they end up putting it, you know, hopefully in Marvel Land. But I think it would be a great concept. I think it would be really fun also to get like shrunken down and go through this little adventure. It'd be great. So yeah, I love the idea of an Ant-Man ride. Ideally, it belongs in Marvel Land, but it would also be cool to put it where Star Tours is, because it would be kind of a nice tribute to Adventures Through Inner Space. So thank you so much for the question. I really do appreciate it. So that concludes this Q&A video. Again, if you would like to submit a question for me to answer in a future Q&A, on Twitter, at OrangeGrove55, or in the comment section below. Either way, that's how I get my questions. Thank you guys so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. Like, subscribe. I do content on Disney all the time. And as always, have a wonderful day.